Look, my top rated book on confidence is called The Super You. I'm sending it to you, physical book, free. Go to the link down there. You got it.
DreAllDay.com.
Congratulations on tuning into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to occur. And on top of all this, you become a go-getter with a personal initiative to make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. Putting all this together, you get the mindset, the method, the podcast known as Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. Welcome to the show. Today's topic is how to get in-demand people to pay attention to you. You got someone who is very in demand. They always being called on. They always being emailed. A lot of people who want to talk to them, and you want to talk to them too. And I read a story today that led to this topic. And well, today's topic, before I get to that, is how do you get in touch with those people? How do you get those people to pay attention to you? How do you get those people to even listen to what it is you have to say, or read your email, or watch your video, or listen to your SoundCloud link, whatever the situation happens to be? I read this story today about this guy who decided to become a basketball agent because he felt like he already had all the connections he needed in order to help basketball players get on, and he can make a lot more money than he was making as a article writer, than he can make as a journalist. And I thought to myself as I was reading that article, because this is posted on social media, that's where I found the article. It's posted plainly on social media for everyone to see. I thought to myself, you know what? Every basketball player who's trying to get on, all these players who reach out to me about getting on and playing overseas and all that stuff, all these guys and girls need to be reaching out to this dude right now. The problem is, even if they were to reach out to this guy, since he's going to be getting calls from a whole bunch of people, as he said he sends sometimes 500 WhatsApp messages a day, is that a lot of athletes don't have anything to offer this guy. A lot of players don't have anything to offer this guy in exchange for him being as in demand as he's going to be when he decides to become an agent. They don't have anything to offer him back that would make him want to pay attention to them. And I'm going to explain to you here today in this episode what exactly I mean and why that matters. Point number one, if you want to get in today's topic again, is how to get an in-demand person to pay attention to you and give you what you want. Do not show up empty-handed. Don't show up empty-handed if you want a person who's in demand to pay attention to you or give you anything you want. I told you, well, you heard in episode number 756 when I interviewed Dawn in St. Louis, who's a colleague of mine, but was a mentor of mine when I first met her. When I first introduced myself to her, I got her number from a loose connection person she didn't know that well, and I didn't even know that well. But when I reached out to her, she started asking me about what I do, and I told her, yeah, I got a website. Yeah, I put out a video every single day. This is before the Work on Your Game podcast even existed. But what she was interested in, or the thing that made her say, hey, this guy, out of all the people who come to me asking the same question that he's asking, this guy may actually be serious because he has some cachet. He had a resume. He has some production behind him already. He wasn't just talking about doing stuff. He was already doing stuff. He wanted to add to the stuff that he was already doing. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm telling you is you got to have a track record that makes you, quote unquote, important to a person who's already important. And importance is relative, right? It's a matter of opinion. What's important and what's not important. I did a whole episode on important information versus unimportant information. If you haven't heard it, go to DreAllDay.com/podcast. and review the archive until you find it. Having a track record that makes you important to another person, in other words, means what can you offer to another person that can help them? And I'm pausing here on purpose because you need to think of what your answer is. If there's an important person you're trying to reach right now, what can you offer them that would help them? Because you understand the language that everybody speaks was the language of what's in it for me. Right? What is it that I'm going to get out of this situation? People do not do things just out of graciousness or charity, or they just want to give to other people, or gratitude. People do things because they're going to get some kind of benefit from it, even if their benefit is feeling good. Even if their benefit is they look good, even if their benefit is a PR score, people do things because they're going to get something out of it. So what is it that the other person is going to get out of dealing with you? What is it that you bring to the table that is valuable to them? Not just what they can do for you, but what you can do for them. So what helps a basketball agent? Going back to the topic, the article that led to today's topic, what helps a basketball agent is that they're talking to a player who they believe they can help get a job somewhere. That player's resume, that player's pedigree, that player's abilities will get them signed to a team that a team will be interested in, and that agent's reputation will be bolstered because the agent brought that player X, to Team Y. Now, if you're a player, if player X is a player who is kind of questionable whether you'll be able to perform or not, an agent's not going to want to deal with you. Why? Because the agent's like, oh, if I bring a weak player to a team, that team's going to look at me and say, okay, we're not listening to that agent anymore because look at this weak-ass player they brought to us last season. We're not listening to him anymore, and that's going to hurt their connection. That's going to hurt their reputation. So an agent has to gauge whether they think you're actually good enough to perform at whatever level before they even think about considering you, which means the more of a track record you already have before you come to the agent, the much easier the agent can make that determination. They don't have to guess because you don't have a resume to present. And when you're that person, now you get thrown into the bucket with everybody else who has no resume, and maybe you'll get a shot, maybe you won't, but now you don't have control over it. Point number 2. Today's topic is how to get an in-demand person to pay attention to you. Get yourself in demand. You want an in-demand person to pay attention to you, all you got to do is become an in-demand person as well. Get that person to see you as an in-demand individual. In other words, and get yourself to be in demand. In other words, get active. Get active in showing your game and get to know people. Simple as that. Do I need to repeat those two things you got to do again? Get active in showing your game, number 1, and getting to know people and getting people to know you. Let me add that in the third thing. So if you're out there showing your game, doing your thing, whatever your thing is, and you're doing it well because you have game, right? You work on your game, right? And now you're getting to know people. Because when you're good at what you do and you're showing your game, people will come to you. Trust me, it happens. You're an athlete and you're good and you show up in a new town where nobody knows you. When I showed up in Miami, I didn't know anybody who played ball in Miami. I just went to some random rec league. I found out there was a league in one place. I went and played in that league. People came up to me like, yo, who you playing with in this league? I ain't know about that league. Oh, play with us. Oh, who you playing with in this tournament? I ain't know about that tournament. Playing this, play with us. Oh, we got another team coming up and the next season starting in 2 weeks, Dre. You trying to run with us? Hell yeah, call me. Here go my number right here. You got to go out there and show your game. When you're showing your game, people will come to you and ask you, yo, where you from? What do you do? How'd you get here? What you doing in this right here? Yo, you need to do this right here. Yo, we got this going on. You should be a part of it. When you got game, people want to be involved with you. Simple as that. That's the way it works, people. When you have game, people will beat a pad to your door because they want to be involved with people who have game. People who are making things happen. People who look like they're about to go and make even more stuff happen. So you got to be out there showing your game. People will get to know you, and you got to get to know those people. So make connections. Find other people who have game. All right, don't just be the only person who has game within a 30-mile radius. Go find other people who have game, connect with those people, and you got the synergy. You know what synergizing means? It means 1 + 1 = 3, basically. The simplest way to explain synergy. Putting your heads together creates a third mind, like the mastermind principle Napoleon Hill outlined in Think and Grow Rich. When multiple people come together in a spirit of perfect harmony, trying to help each other and create something better, there becomes like an extra person because all their minds together forms into another person, a master individual. So now putting those two together equals 3. So that's what the synergy is that I'm talking about. Find other people who are going the same direction that you're going and y'all help each other out. It's a symbiotic relationship. Get active, get known, let people know you. You got to be important yourself. The best way to approach an important person is to be important yourself. If you approach an important person, you're treating yourself, you're clawing and scraping and begging as if you're an unimportant individual. They're not on the same wavelength as you. They're not thinking the same way that you're thinking. They're not seeing things the same way that you're seeing them. They're going to try to avoid you because they'd rather deal with someone who's important. And again, importance is relative, ladies and gentlemen. It's about the way you present yourself. Now, you better have something behind how you present yourself. All right, don't be an empty suit. You know what an empty suit is? It means a person who has the posture of being important, but they actually aren't doing anything worthwhile. They aren't doing anything important. They have no track record. Nobody knows them. They don't know anyone, and they don't have any game, even though they got the posture of being important. So make sure you got something of substance behind your presentation of being important, whatever that presentation happens to be, whether that's an online profile, whether it's the clothes you wear, the way you talk, who you're hanging with, who co-signed you. Make sure you got something of substance behind whatever it is you're bringing to the table. Point number 3. Today's topic is how to get an important person or an in-demand individual to pay attention to you. Do not be needy. This probably should have been rule number 1. Do not be needy when you're dealing with a person who is already in demand, already important, because you know who they deal with all day? People who are needy, people who are asking for stuff, people who want stuff, people who want more information that's already available, people who want them, the important person, to do something for the other person for no reason whatsoever, just as charity. They get used to tuning these people out. All right, they get conditioned for ignoring these people, passing most of this stuff off, whether they completely ignore it or they pass it off to an assistant or their number 2 person or some secretary or something, or someone who's not the person who the person who reached out was actually trying to get in touch with, they pass it off to those people because they're like, all right, this person's not important. Next one, not important. Next one, not important. Next one, not important. Next one, begging. Next one, needing. Next one, ain't doing nothing. They pass all that stuff off, don't even pay attention to you. They don't even know your name. You send 5 emails, they don't even know who you are because they never read even one of them. So do not be a needy individual. People get used to tuning this stuff out. Don't be another one of those. In-demand people. All right, people like you. You want to be an in-demand individual. We don't sit around and wait for one person to do something for us. And you're not going to sit around and wait for one person to do something for you. What you do is get active and you stay active. Because important people are active. You know why important people are so active? Because they got so much going on. They got so much game. They're putting it out there so often. So many people know them and they know so many other people that their game is in demand. That's why they stay active. That's why they're important. That's why they're in demand, because their game is out there. They've spread it out. They make sure people know about their game, and they know the people who have game. They know who else has game. They know who else is doing what. Their name is out there. Their likeness is out there. Their contact info is probably out there. Amongst the important people, they be in contact. Their phone is ringing. Their email is buzzing. Their whatever else it is going off because people are reaching out to them because of the game that they have displayed, because of the connections they have made. You got to become that person and understand that there's no gatekeeper stopping you from doing that. There's no okay that you got to get from anybody to become this important individual. You can do this anytime you want. What you got to do, though, is follow these principles that I've given you here in today's episode as we recap today's episode, which is how to get an important in-demand individual to pay attention to you. Number 1, do not show up empty-handed. Have some game, have some skill, have a track record, be able to prove your track record, and important people will pay attention to you because you are displaying your own importance. Number 2, get yourself in demand. In other words, get active in showing your game and get to know people. Get them to know you as well. The more you do this, the more your phone's going to be ringing, the more your email's going to be buzzing, as long as you have game and you're true to your game and you're out there representing what you're about. And number 3, do not be needy. Important people are used to tuning out needy people. They can see right through them. Present yourself as an important individual. The way you do that is what I just told you. Be active, be out there, show your game, make connections, let people make connections with you. You will be in demand. You will be important. Don't be an empty suit, presenting yourself as important but not having any substance behind it. Do not sit around and wait for any one person or one thing or one company or one idea to just pop off and happen for you. Stay active, have multiple hustles going at all times. You keep doing that. Eventually, you will be the in-demand person because you got so much going on. You get yourself into demand. This is basically exactly what I'm saying. You make yourself a person who's in demand just by the sheer level of volume that you're putting out there, the sheer level of energy you're putting out there consistently. You keep doing that, you will become the in-demand individual. Then you're going to have people calling you. Then you're going to have to figure out what to do when you got too many people calling, too many people asking, too many people needing, too many people wanting stuff, all because you put so much time in working on your game. Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com.